So
This is legacy, carved in stone. Not merely decoration, but declaration. Nothing whispers old money quite like a towering sculpture in the foyer or a marble muse tucked into the rose garden. Each sculpture tells a story, a quiet murmur of power, prestige, and taste that refuses to fade with time. Today, the gates open. The curtain lifts, and what lies beyond? A world where every statue is a symbol, every pose a message, and every estate a monument to the family name. Wealthy? Perhaps. Extra? Absolutely. Let the creating begin.
Welcome in. You are now tuned in to Simwhere's Prada, where the drama is designer and the stories are what? Forever iconic. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so I know this is very random. I planned this last minute and I was like, I have to do one for the girls and the guys, because you guys have been asking ever since you guys had saw that I create my own statues of the Ackers that I use on their estates. And I hadn't made one in so long. Like, it's been a minute since I made one. And I was like, wait, I need to make one of Edward Acker III. You're going to know more about him in season 2. But I was like, wait, I can probably use this as a how-to teachable moment for other people who wants to know an easy, quick way on how you can make a statue in your game. So let's get into it. Now, first things first, let's get some things in order. I am a very direct person. I'm a Taurus. It's all made with love. Do not take offense in the tone and the strong direction, okay? But let's just clear some things, babe. First things first, you need a computer, okay? We need a computer. We need somebody who is good at visual learning, okay? Because a lot of these things and terms are gonna be a little confusing. So I'm gonna need you to see what I do and duplicate that, okay? But like I said, first things first, we need a computer. And now I'm gonna list the things that you're also gonna need to make this work. Okay, so 1, you're gonna need the Sims. I mean, the Sims 4, because that's the content that we're creating this for. I don't know how to do it in any other game, so this is Sims 4. Next, you're gonna need Blender. I use Blender 2.7. Yeah, it's an older version, but that's the version that I use. Next, you're gonna need Sim Reaper. And then you're also gonna need Sims 4 Studio. And then you're gonna need like an editing program where you can edit a picture in. And I believe that's all you need. And I do want to mention that the Studio app that I use, I edit that on my phone. When it comes to any pictures or anything, I edit on my phone. But the other stuff, you're gonna need a computer. Okay, so let's get started. So now you have the Sims 4 game open, and I would say go into create a sim and have the sim that you want to make the statue of. If you already have a sim already, just open them up in cast, create the outfit, and then we're going to click save to gallery. You have to do this in order for it to show up in your Sim Reaper. So make sure you do that first. Okay, so once you created the look and you have the sim and you save them to your gallery, now I would say either place them onto a lot, or if they're already in a home, go to that home and save your game. You want to save the file of the current date. So just go to any lot or just save on the screen when you're not in cast, and then you exit the game. But you make sure you save your game before you exit. Okay, so now you're gonna open up your Sims 4 Reaper, and you might get some notification pop-ups when you open it. Just click exit, exit until this screen pops up. And then you're going to go to select, and this is where you're going to select that file that you just saved. It should be a recent one with a recent date. And once you do that, all of the Sims in that file is going to pop up, and that's where you see it on the side right here. And now you're going to research your Sim name. I found Edward Acker the third, and then he's going to load up. So now we have our Sim. He's loaded in the Sim Reaper, and I just want to make sure I have the right outfit. So I'm going to make sure I go to everyday outfit number 2 because that's the look that I want to go for. Okay. And it's loading. Yeah. So once it loads, you're going to see DAE at the top under select. And that is what you're going to click to save this texture file. It's extremely important. I do put my texture size on HQ, so make sure you change it to HQ. It's right under the circle right there, right above glass. Yeah, right there. So when you do save on day, it's going to save wherever you want it to save. I say create a folder on your desktop and name it after the Sim. And then you're going to transfer those 4 files into that folder. Everything you save from now on, save it into this folder until it's time for us to put it in the game. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just transferring it over from where it was into this main folder. It just helps keeps everything organized so you can know where everything is at. So when you open up in Blender and stuff, it's all going to be here and easy. Now let's go to the next step. Okay, so now we are officially done with the Sim Reaper, and now we're going to move on to finding a pose that you will want to use for your statue. Now, technically, I make my own poses. You can do this prior to coming up with the pose for your Sim. But if you do not know how to make poses in Blender, just find a pose that you want. So I'm going to go on Pinterest, and I'm gonna search some male poses that are kind of aligned with how I want him to pose, basically. This is easier, and since a lot of you might not know how to create poses, this is just something that's quick and easy for you to do. Some creators don't like it when you use their poses in Deco Sims and stuff like that, but girl, who gives a shit? Like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. So I ended up finding this one, and I downloaded it, and it was perfect. I was like, wait, this is kind of the poses that I want. So it just worked out great for me. Once I downloaded it, then now is the next step. So now you have the pose, right? Okay, so now in your folder that you created, you should have those 4 files, and add that pose, that package file into this folder so it can be easier to find when you open up Sims 4 Studio. Because now what we're trying to do is extract those meshes, which is like the poses that we saw that we're going to be able to open up in Blender to help with our pose. So make sure you do that, and then we're going to go and create a folder called poses. So when we extract the ones in Sims 4 Studio, we can just save them into this pose folder within this folder that you created. All right. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go and open up our Sims 4 Studio, and then we're going to click on My Projects. And then you're going to go to that folder you created, and you're going to click on that pose package that you just downloaded. This is going to open up so we can be able to extract the pose meshes so we can open them up in Blender. So My Projects, open up the file that you just saved, the package file that you just saved of the pose that you just downloaded. Alright, so now that we have the file open in Sims 4 Studio, we're now going to extract, or in their terms, export the mesh of the pose that we want. Now, I don't know which pose it is because they don't have pictures, so I'm just going to download a bunch of, not download, export. I'm going to export a lot of the poses, and then I'm going to open it up and see which ones I like, and then we're going to go from there. So now you're going to see me open up, you're going to see me export the mesh. That's what we're doing. We're exporting the pose so we can open it up in Blender. And just also make sure that you have it clicked on Studio. That way you can see a list of all the poses and it can be easier to access. I don't think you can access it any other way, but yeah, make sure you're in Studio. Okay, so now I'm just gonna save a bunch of the poses and see which one I like as I open them up in Blender. Right away, the first pose that popped up was the one that I wanted to use, and I didn't really even need the rest, but just so you can see, like, when you open the poses up, this is what you just exported from Sims 4 Studio. So now what we're going to do is basically we are going to find an object that we're going to replace with our statue. And for me, what we are basically doing is honestly we're making Deco Sims. Yes, if you follow this tutorial, you're gonna know how to make your own Deco Sim. So what I do is when I'm making a Deco Sim is that I download another Deco Sim that somebody either had. In my case, I'm going to download my own. I'm going to download my own Deco Sim. This Deco Sim is free on my Patreon page. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to use. When you download that Deco Sim, that package file, you want to place that into your Sims 4 mods folder, your Sims 4 Studio mods folder. Keep in mind, it needs to go in your Sims 4 Studio, okay? In the mods folder in your Sims 4 Studio. I don't know, like, depending on what computer, where it's at for you, but for me, I go to my documents and then I find Sims 4 Studio, and then once you find Sims 4 Studio, you just click on mods and you put that package file into that mods folder. It's kind of similar with how you do your regular Sims when you download stuff and you put it in your mods folder, but it needs to be Sims 4 Studio mods folder. This is going to be easier and quick for me, and I guess for you as well, instead of just using an object in the game. So that just helps me, because sometimes the texture of certain objects, it's just, this is the easy way. I'm giving you the 1, 2, 3, okay? So download my Deco Sim on my Patreon page. It's free, and then you're gonna place that into your Sims 4 Studio mods folder, and then we're gonna open that up in Sims 4 Studio. Okay, so now that you have Sims 4 Studio open, you're gonna go to Content where it says All, and then you're gonna scroll down where it says Custom. And once you hit Custom, your custom pieces, basically these are all the items that you added into your Sims 4 Studio mods folder. And now you're gonna go to Show Debug Objects, because my Deco Sim is gonna be in there. Once you click on that, find the Deco Sim and open it up and save it. Save it in the folder on the desktop that we created earlier, so it can just be easier to find. Alright, so now that you see we have the Deco Sim opened in Sims 4 Studio, and now what we want to do is that we want to export the mesh so we can open her up in Blender. And when you do that, keep this Sims 4 Studio open. Do not close it. Keep it open at all times. Okay, so now we're going to export this mesh and you're going to save it in the folder that we created on the desktop, so it can be easier to find. So now you're going to go to your desktop folder where you saved the poses, the meshes that we exported earlier. You're going to open up that pose, just double click it and it should open up in Blender. And now here's your pose in Blender. Yes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click the eye on the right because we want to hide all of this. It's hard for me to explain it, but you just want to click the eye. And what it's going to do is just going to like kind of make the body disappear. It's still going to be there, but it's just going to be a little bit transparent. It's not going to be viewable to the eye because now we want to export the Sim Reaper texture that we did earlier onto this Sim. Okay, so now we want to upload the DAE file that we saved earlier. So now you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Import, and you're going to import the DAE file. This should be in the one that we saved on the desktop in the folder that we guys created. Remember those 4 files? The DAE file is one of those, and then we're just going to upload, and bam, your Sim is fully clothed and textured now. Alright, so now we're going to go to the right and we're going to click rig 1 and we're going to delete that one, and we're also going to delete lamp 5. We want to delete those things, okay? So now what we want to do is connect our Sim to the original rig with the pose. So now we're going to go to this wrench icon and then we're going to go to objects and we're going to click this and we're going to change it to rig. And now it's in the pose. So once you click rig, then we're going to click apply and then we're going to click save. You're actually going to click save as. I end up saving, and what that did was that overrided the pose that we saved from earlier, and you kind of don't want to do that because you maybe want to use that pose, that mesh pose, again for something else. But regardless, I would save as whatever and place it in the folder of the desktop that we created so you can bring it back up again because we do have to use it again. So now we're going to exit out of Blender and then we're going to open up the Deco Sim that we saved. Remember, we saved it as test 1. Well, I saved mine as test 1. And now we're going to open that up in Blender. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're replacing this Deco Sim with the one we just made. So now you're going to click on your Sim and then you're going to go down and you're going to make sure you're in edit mode. And once you're in edit mode, you're going to click the tab A, the 8 on the keyboard, and it should bring this up. Yes, these are your vertices. And then we're going to click delete because we want to delete this because remember we're replacing it. So we're going to click delete. You can just click it on your keyboard and then you can just do delete all vertices. And bam, we're ready for the next step. So now what we're going to do is make sure that we go back down to the bottom where we had it in edit mode, and we're going to change it back to object mode. And then we're going to go back up to file and then we're going to click append. And you're going to find the file that we saved. Remember I said save it as something because we want to change the name. Click that and open that up and click object and then click on your Sim name. So once we have your Sim up, we're going to find his name on the right side. We're going to click that and then we're going to go down to the triangle at the bottom. So once you click on the triangle, you're going to delete all group. It's going to delete all of the vortex group. Okay, we're almost over. Breathe. Now we're going to go down to where it says UV map. And then we're going to delete the last one. And then we're going to change this name to UV_0. UV_0. And then we're going to press enter. And then we're going to just relax. Okay. So now on the right side, we see his name. We're going to click or hold their name. We're going to press shift. And then we're going to click Studio Mesh 1. And then we're going to select CTRL-J because we want to join the two to make them one. Now we're going to click the wrench. And then we're going to click Add Modifier. And then we're going to click Decimate. This is extremely important. And now click Save. Now remember, we still have Sims 4 Studio pulled up. So now we're going to input what we just saved. So after that finished loading, as you see, our pose is in, but the texture is off. It's the old texture that we had before. So we're going to have to go in and change the texture. But let's do that now. And let's just change the texture to the one that we saved earlier. From the Sim Reaper. That's why the Sims 4 Reaper is very important, because it provided us that texture that we need to replace that with. So we're going to input that texture over that, and it's going to change it. So now, bam, we got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, but please make sure you go back to your meshes because you have to change it to each one of those three. You don't have to change the texture, you just have to change the mesh. So you're going to always go back to import mesh to each one of those and change it to the same one you did for the first one. Now we're back in the textures. Honey, you honestly just made your first deco sim if you followed all the directions. You just made a deco sim. How it's easy for me to find my stuff in my game is I do like SWP. So when I search it in The Sims 4, it'll just pop up. So please name it something easy for you to find. So when you go to test out it and see if it works, you can just find it quickly. So that's what I did. But because we are making sculptures and statues, we're not done yet because we need to change that texture that we just inputted to a marble-like texture. But outside of that, you just created a deco sim, ladies and gentlemen, and this is how I make my statues and sculptures. So now let's get into changing the texture. Now this is where Studio app on my phone come into play, or whatever editing app or program you use on your computer or your phone. You're going to upload that texture file into that program, and then you're going to play around with the image. So what you see now is the current one that I use for the two that I have showed you guys before. This is the texture that I use over that original one to get that marble type of look that I wanted. And because I already have it saved in my phone, all I have to do is just go and replace the old one with the new one. But let's say you wanted a different texture. You just upload it like this. I turn the transparency down so I can see where the face at, because you're gonna want to clear open a way for the face to show in order for you to get that realistic marble like texture look. Otherwise it's just going to be all matted, and you can still go for that look, but I wanted to at least see their face to know who they are. And that's my way of my method. I would add like the little squiggly lines as you saw and just play around with the textures. And here's where you see I replaced the old one with the new texture, and now this is the guy. This is Edward Acker III. This is his face. And yeah, I just really like how it turned out in the game. So let's actually see what it looked like. And so after a few tries of getting my texture right, I went back into Sims 4 Studio because I kept that open, and I went and I changed the texture. As you can see, now it's the marble look, and I love it. I love the way it turned out. It was everything that I wanted it to be, and I'm like super excited to see it in the game. But you must go back and change that texture, right? and then you're gonna just click save, and make sure you take that package file where you saved this at and put it in your original Sims 4 mods folder, because now you need to have it there in order for you to have it in your game. And even though time after time I said save it in that folder that we created on the desktop, if you just so happen to forget where you saved it, it would tell you at the tip top where it's at, so you can be able to find the package file. And this is the file that you're going to add to your Sims 4 folder for it to be able to show up in your game. But let's test it out now to see how it showed up in my game. Okay, now I'm in my game. I search SWP, and here it is right here with all of my other content. And oh my god, it worked perfectly. He looks so good. Oh my god, I love the details. I love the shading. It really gives that good marble texture with like some erosion in the face over time. I love this. Edward Acker III plays a huge part in the family's money in the future. Like, he is the one who came up with starting Acker Enterprises. So yeah, he plays a big major role in a lot of crazy things that are to come. But no, it turned out so great. I wanted it to be similar to the other ones that I have in my game as well, so that's why I didn't go with a different marble texture. But here I am just testing him out to see what he looked like on certain podiums, and I thought it turned out great. Alright guys, that is the end of the video. I am really highly pleased with the details of how it turned out. Of course, I'm not surprised. I've done this before, but I haven't did it in so long, like 2 years I think. So it's been a minute. Like, I think it's been since 2023 since I made like a statue. So it was nice to do it again. I know he's gonna play a big major role in next season, so I know I had to have a statue of him, so I'm happy I did. I really don't know where I want to put him. Right now he's in the Acker Manor Gardens, but I don't know exactly where I want him to go. Like, if I should have him go to the Acker Enterprises headquarters or what, I'm not sure, but we'll figure that out later. But hopefully you guys learned how to make your own. As you can see, I teach you how to make a deco sim first, and then you just go in and change the texture, and you just download a bunch of pedestals and place them on a pedestal, and bam, you have a statue, you have a sculpture. So hopefully you can learn it the super detailed way I explained it in the best way I could. I learned from someone who made like a 2-minute video, 2 or 3 minute video, so it was like really quick and sharp, but you have to know the program to know how to follow their quick directions. But I'll leave their video in the description just in case they might touch on something that I haven't. And if you are a fast learner and you're just like, wait, this is super detailed, just give me just the pinpoints, then I'm gonna attach that video in the description, and hopefully you can learn from them. I tried to be as detailed as I can. I tried to throw in like little extra tips and tricks. They don't talk about how to insert poses. They just say like, oh, you know, create your pose while you're in Blender and just save it. So I just tried to give people who don't know how to make poses a different alternative. Just download and insert it, so now you know how to do it, and now you know how to make deco sims in the process as well, because basically that's what we did. But I changed the texture to like a marble to make it like a statue. Hopefully I explained it as easy. Listen, that's the easiest I can do. Don't ask me nothing. I tried my best. I really did try my best. But I hope you guys liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. This was a very popular question amongst many other ones, that how did I make my statues and things like that. And I knew I had to make one, so I was like, wait, perfect timing. I can just record my process. But yeah, into the next video.